Let's make some high protein vegan meals. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Chris. I've been vegan for about 10 years. Jasmine's behind the camera today.
Hi.
And we're gonna be cooking up a whole bunch of high protein vegan meals. We posted a video recently with more high protein vegan meals. If you haven't seen that, we'll link it down below. But all these meals are gonna be really simple, but really delicious, and most importantly, packed with protein. I know there's a misconception that vegans don't get enough protein, and while that's inherently not true, we're just going to give you some ways to incorporate different things into your meals if you're looking for a boost of protein. The first recipe we're making today is a chickpea scramble. This is really simple to make. We've actually had this on the blog for quite some time. It only requires a handful of ingredients and it comes together really simply. It's a great alternative if you don't want to use tofu or just egg or anything like that. We really like this because it's high in protein, it's easy to make, and it's really delicious. In a bowl, we're going to add some chickpea flour along with vegetable broth, some turmeric, garlic, and just give that a quick whisk until everything is smooth. Next, we're going to add some oil to a pan and then pour in the chickpea batter. I recommend using a non-stick pan for this because otherwise it can stick and it might get a little bit messy. After a few minutes, it'll look like this and it'll be done. You just want to season it with some salt and pepper and then some kala namak, which is black salt, and it'll give it a nice eggy flavor. Also, feel free to add any other seasonings that you'd like. And I'm serving mine with a side of toast and some salsa on top, but feel free to do whatever you'd like. Alright, this looks really good. I've actually already eaten a few bites and can confirm it is delicious. I'm serving mine with salsa, but you can serve it with whatever you'd like if you want to have a side of meatless bacon or sausage or whatever. I also have some toast here. The kala namak, the black salt, really gives it a eggy flavor, so it does feel like a scramble. The texture's a little bit different than scrambled eggs would be, but for what it is, I really enjoy it. You can also experiment with the spice blend. We just put garlic and some turmeric for color, but feel free to add Italian seasoning or any other seasoning that you think would be good in this. This is kind of just a base, so you can play off it and add things as you'd like. That concludes our first meal. Let's get on to the next one. The next recipe we are making today is a spiced chickpea toast. It's basically like spiced chickpeas on toast. It's really simple, really delicious, really like hearty, no meat alternatives or anything. We're getting our protein from chickpeas in this recipe, and it's really easy for a quick lunch or a snack. So let's get right into it. In a medium pan over medium heat with some oil, add in your onions and garlic along with some spices and some salt. Give that a mix until everything is coated and the onions start to cook down. Next, we'll add in some tomato sauce along with some sugar and salt. We'll mix that all together, and then we'll add in our chickpeas and just mix everything until it's coated and the chickpeas are heated through. Then we'll add in some fresh basil and some pepper, mix it all together, and then we'll just serve it on some toast. And then we're also topping ours with some dairy-free parm. Here we go. I didn't toast this bread as good as I should have, but that is delicious. There's a little kick of spice, but it's not terrible. And there's some cumin in there, so you get that. It's like a very, very flavorful meal.
Distinct flavor.
Very distinct.
Yeah. Very
Very delicious. And as always, all of the recipes will be linked down below. I definitely recommend trying this one. The final recipe we're making today is a simple chili. This is a 5 to 6 ingredient recipe, but we're using it as a base. So feel free to zazz it up as you'd like. Zazz, dazzle, jazz, zazzy. This recipe is also on our blog. It's linked down below. It's really simple. I know we're getting into the warmer months now, but I feel like chili is always a solid go-to meal. And it's still cold and rainy up by where we live.
It snowed yesterday.
Yes, that's where we're at. And it's still a great meal any time of year, in my opinion. So let's get into the recipe. To start, in a large pot with some oil, we'll add in some onions and some red bell pepper. We'll mix that through and let it cook down. Then we'll add in some tempeh for some extra protein. This is optional, but I definitely recommend it. Seasoned tempeh like tempeh bacon would also be a great addition to this. You can also add any other proteins of your choice. Next, we're adding beans and some fire roasted tomatoes. This one also has jalapenos in it, but that's optional. Next, we'll add in some chili powder and mix everything through. This recipe is meant to serve as a base, so feel free to add any additional flavors. We'll bring this to a boil, lower it to a simmer, and then give it a good mix. Once it's done, we'll season it with some salt and pepper, and we're ready to serve. So I just topped this chili with some dairy-free sour cream, vegan cheddar, and some cilantro. I'm not a big cilantro fan, so I didn't put that much, but Jasmine likes it, so. We also added tempeh to this, as I mentioned when we were cooking it. You can also add like vegan ground beef, like Impossible or Beyond. Yeah, you can add tofu. We have a tofu taco meat recipe that would actually be really good in this. Also, tempeh bacon would be really good. The options are endless. As I mentioned earlier, just use this as a base and kind of add things as you'd like. But it's really hearty. Really delicious. A little spicy. Is it really a video if I don't have a coughing attack in it? If you're new here, go watch all of our other videos. I cough at some point. But yeah, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. We hope this gave you some ideas to make some protein-packed recipes. A lot of people seem to be very interested in that, so we wanted to provide this as a resource. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. We post videos every single week. We do taste tests, reviews of restaurants and fast food chains, and we have a whole bunch of fun here, so feel free to follow along, and we'll see you next week. Bye.